Why do people say no? Why do they tell you, I love what you're doing, I want to work with you? And then they turn around and they say no, they ghost you. They don't take up they don't take your offer. It's not because they don't want it. It's because the trust hasn't been built yet. They don't trust the path. They don't trust your solution. A lot of times, they just don't even know you well enough yet to be able to trust you. Let's talk about that today. Hi, my name is Steve Kidd. I'm a third generation minister, international best-selling author of 40 books and counting. Over the course of the last 40 years in business, I've had the wonderful privilege of working with doctors, lawyers, nurses, Olympic athletes, but also stay-at-home moms, brand new startup companies, all the way to Fortune 500 companies. And there are some things that are vastly different about things like that, but there's also a lot of those things that are the same. And the biggest piece of that that is always true, the thing that always rings true, is that we buy from people that we know, like, and trust. And if people aren't getting things from you, um, it probably more than anything else, and it may be a lack of trust, but it really boils down to they don't know you enough yet to like you enough to then be able to actually truly trust you. And that's where we get back to the thing that I'm always talking about, our three C's: clarity, consistency, connection, right? Um, Clarity. Okay, so if we want somebody to know us, we need to be clear. There's a couple of steps in clarity. Number one is being vulnerable and valuable, sharing with the people our, not just our truth, but in a way that is open and honest and real and genuine, a way that they can connect with us and want to know more. When we give people a little bit of ourselves in an open, honest, and genuine way, typically speaking, they want to go further with that. And there are going to be times, and the cool part of it, this is really actually the cool part about it, is because not everybody is going to be your somebody. Not everybody is going to be your raving fans. Not everyone is going to be your client, your customer. And it's really actually better for you when when you discover that mismatch sooner as opposed to later. All too often, and all of us have experienced this, we need money is typically the reason why. We are looking at a person and we get a red flag. Okay. They want to work with us, but there's something, just whatever that might be. Maybe they're trying to get you to do a discount. Uh, Don Telly, I'm glad to see you here. Um, you know, Whatever that thing might be, you just kind of get that little feeling, and you're like, but you push through it. You're like, oh, no, no big deal. And you go on anyway. And in the end, typically, we regret it. I've said this many times. It's like, we should trust our gut more often. There have been very few, if any, times in our lives where we've said, I trusted my gut and I really, really regret that. However, how many times have we said, man, I should have listened to my gut. I knew better. But we do it, like you said, usually it's because we need the money, or we're really inspired by the person. And there's just something that doesn't quite click. The sooner that we can get to the place where that doesn't click allows us to powerfully both move down our separate roads, but have them be separate. That's okay. Again, to quote Seth Godin, that I say all the time, better to have 100 raving fans than 10,000 people who could care less. I would rather have one person that comes on for 30 seconds on here, and even like, a couple of you have done, come in and say hi, than to have a million people who especially are, coming on and just judging me, and aren't really ever going to do anything. A lot of times when I do the lives, and this is the nature of doing a live and putting it out, posting it out, live streaming it through YouTube, especially. It would probably be even worse if I did live stream it through TikTok. Um, You get a lot of people that just pop in and they say random things, or even mean things. Uh, and for the most part, every once in a while it gets to me. It doesn't bother me. For a random person to be that place, that doesn't mean much. But for somebody that you've invested a lot of time in to then do that, that hurts. And so we first off want to understand, we want to know clearly who we are, what we do in this world, and who we're meant to serve, really specifically, and then connect with those people and be okay with not connecting with the people who aren't those people. Both of those are good for us. And then we need to have we create that relationship through clear signal, a clear message, clearly talking about, I'm saying this and I'm saying it in a very unclear way, at least it feels that way, which is probably in the next drinking game on my show, but whatever. It's just important that we really have that clarity and invest our time into the people that we're meant to serve and give them that clear stuff that they need. Okay. And then consistency, we need to do it consistently because we never know what their lives are at. But when we pop up in their feed, it's going to pop up in their feed at exactly the right time. Yandina, glad to have you here with us. Thanks for joining. Um, it's always important to remember that you're going to show up exactly when you're supposed to, both for the people that you're supposed to connect with as well as the people that you're not supposed to connect with. And in both cases, that's okay. And control what you can and don't worry about what you can't control. Some people are going to join with you and others aren't. And both of those are really, really good thing. I know it doesn't feel like it when, everybody in the world isn't following you and people reject you and those kind of things. And I'm not in any way downplaying that, but it's really actually good. But when we consistently put our message out there, then consistently we are going to begin to start seeing the people that we really do want to connect with and should connect with beginning to watch those things and get to know us. So, and with that then becomes consistent, rather connection. So we're clear, we're consistently putting it out there, and it allows us to connect. That connection allows people to first know us. Hey, here I am, I'm doing this blah blah thing, and I do crazy stuff online, and whatever that might be. And sometimes what Steve is saying makes sense, and sometimes it makes absolutely no sense. And sometimes it feels a little bit more like a drinking game of how many faux pas can Steve make during a live. And sometimes they're like really deep and really helpful. Just being me, just showing up as exactly who I am. And that is what needs to have happen. Okay? For the clarity that we consistently put out, that'll allow us to connect to the right people. And when we get that no, or when we get that not now, or when we get that hesitancy in the buying, we offered people something, especially when you get that person who's like, oh yeah, I'm really interested in that. And then they ghost you. That normally is a really clear signal that they just don't know you well enough. And maybe you even came on a little bit too strong. Maybe you were a little bit too ready to go. And what you really needed to do was create more relationship with them. Let them get to know you more so that they really truly do like you. And from that know and like, you will build trust with the right people. And it's not going to be everybody. And that's okay. That's actually for the best. I mean, the truth of the matter is if you had something that went viral right now and you had 1 million people, and every single one of those 1 million people wanted whatever it was you were talking about, could you fulfill 1 million people right now? In most people's cases, the answer to that is not yes. There are some situations where you're doing something that's print on demand. Like if 1 million of you wanted to go out and get my book, bestsellers only at the beginning, please go get it right now. If 1 million people wanted to do that, absolutely. Okay, it's set up in print on demand, and it's through Amazon, so it can blow out, and the ebook is instantaneous. All right, that's a system that's built that if a million people wanted it today, it could happen. But for the most part, that really isn't set up, and we really couldn't handle those number of clients. And the truth of the matter is, even going back to that example, if a million people bought my book, and let's say that they bought it at whatever amount, but let's just say that, I made $1 off of each book, okay, just for easy math. Million people, $1 million, okay, I made $1, all right. And then 60 days later, so about 2 months from now, Amazon's going to, give me my payment for that. If I got $1 million that dropped into my bank account, and it's a business bank account, it'd get flagged. And it might take a long time. It might even, never go through. Just being really honest with you. Okay. Now, I can tell you from experience, because I've gone from, even in some cases, brand new merchant processors and bank accounts to putting several $100,000 in that account over the course of just a couple of days. You want to tell them that you have a heads up. And if you did see, hey, I just sold 1 million copies of my book, wow, that's cool. You would have 60 days to tell them. It's like, look, typically on this day is when I get my commission payment from Amazon, and in not this month, but next month, I'm going to get a really giant payment. And you can do it. Now, the flip side to it is that the next people that are going to be very interested is the government, and they're going to really want to make sure you pay your taxes off of that real quick. Okay, there's ditches on both sides of the road. So the flip side to that, though, is if you had one person today that bought your favorite program, whatever that is, maybe it's a $5 program, maybe it's a $500,000 program, whatever level it is, not necessarily talking your low ticket program, not necessarily your high ticket program, but the one that is the product that you just wish you could just sell it every single day. Wish I could bring on a new person every single day. Okay. If the truth of the matter is in many cases, getting one of those, even getting one a month, would change your world and change your life. And if you did really get to the place where you're doing even just one a day, it would be so much better for your life and your business. Hey, Matt, glad to have you here with us. It would be so much better for your life and your business to have that consistency in the people showing up than to have this massive boom that blows up everything. And, and then you don't know what to do with it. You can't fulfill on it. And it just, next thing you know, your company imploded under the weight of success. You don't want that either. So ultimately, why don't people buy? And the real basic answer for it really boils down to, I know I talked a lot about systems, and you want to have those systems in place, but the number one system you want to have in place is the 3 C's. Be clear with what you're saying, to clearly exactly who, consistently talking to them about the thing they need, with the only thing you're going after is to connect with them. Connection comes first. Trust is built from people getting to know you and then learning to like you, and then the trust will come. And when you go through that process, you will end up having really great and raving fans versus people who come in, they buy your thing, and then tomorrow they want a refund. Or they come in and they go through your whole program, and then they go out and across the whole of the internet, they're telling everybody how horrible your system is. What we want is to be, yes, vulnerable and valuable to people, to create that connection so they can really feel like they know you. And then they want to get to know you more till they get to the point where they like you. And then when they like you, then you can begin to create that real trust with them. My encouragement to you today is this. There are some people that you've contacted once, twice, 10, 100 times, whatever. Now isn't the time to stop contacting them. Now's the time to reach out and get to know them a little better. Hey, I was just thinking about you, and I really would like to know what's going on in your life. And is there anything in that that I can help you reach your goals? People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. It may feel like a left turn at Albuquerque for your business, and it may, for a short period of time, even be a distraction. But when you can accomplish creating a company and a you that is something that really truly invests in people and cares, the caring comes first. The wanting to connect is more important than the wanting to convert. We want to be clear with the people who we are, what we do, and what we can do for them. Like I will always want to make sure that I'm clear with you. I'm here to help you specifically have a marketing strategy for your book, both how to launch it, but more importantly, what to do with it ongoingly. A lot of people could help you launch your book. A lot of people could help you do your book. There are very, very few people that can actually tell you specifically how do you continue to market your book? What works? Why does it work? And how can you continue to do it? What things are you going to give you the best success? And how can we measure that success? That is clearly what I do. Now, there's a few other things that I do on these lives, because mostly I'm just coming out here to reach out to you and connect with you. I always want to have a time where, like right now, I'm going to say, if selling is something that's tough for you, just drop the word trust in the comments, and let's talk. Let's talk about how you can be genuinely, totally you, and begin to connect with people in a way that sets the selling off to the side. And I'm huge in the concept of sales and sales skills and all those kind of things. But that comes because if we go in wanting to do what's best for the people, wanting to do what only we can do in their lives, and to add value to who they are, when we do that, okay, thank you, Kyle. Glad to have you here with us, Kyle. You just really want to connect to the people, because the sale doesn't come first. Trust does. And trust isn't going to be built until people know you, they get to like you, they want to connect with you. Hey, Lee, glad to have you here with us. I hope that today something really amazingly wonderful happens for you, that you're happy, safe, warm, and loved. On Saturday, we're going to get together and we're going to meet for a little longer. I'm going to do my new version of my signature talk. It's going to be about 45 minutes, and then I'll open up the room for questions after that. And it's really just my practice session. And I'm going to let you guys listen in. I'd love to have you join me on Saturday. But either way, I'll be back again tomorrow. And until then, I hope you have a great week.